Hey everybody, welcome. We are going to get started on the 10.5 worksheet. So look at that. Look at all those letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. We should have mixed up one of those. But anyway, we have a regular octagon with a center of X and a radius of 5. Find the measure to the nearest tenth. So we are going to find all these little angles first. So before I do any of that, I should probably locate the central angle, which is 360 divided by 8, which I believe is 45. If I'm not mistaken, 45. So that's the central angle. So that would be the entire angle. If I went like that, that'd be in there. But this is just asking for FXE. So actually, let's erase that and put in FXE is this whole angle. So that should be 45. So that's the central angle. And then YXE is going to be half of that, which is going to be 22.5 degrees. Now, XY, we have to find that. So we're going to use our right triangle that we see right there. 5 is this piece, and then this is 22.5. So we want to find XY, which is this line. And then we want to find FE, which is this line. Or at least that's half of it. FE is the entire thing. So we'll use that in just a bit. Okay. So let's find this guy first. We'll just put this as from here. This is the adjacent piece. So we have the hypotenuse and adjacent. So that's going to be cosine. So we're going to do the cosine of 22.5 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And we'll multiply by 5. So 5 times the cosine of 22.5. And that should equal 5 times the cosine of 22.5 is about 4.6. So we get 4.6 for that piece right there. Boom. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and find this piece down here, which we're going to have to double for FE, but this is the opposite piece. We have H and opposite, so that's going to be sine. So again, I write a little bit big on this thing. So sine 22.5 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going to do 5 times sine of 22.5. 5 times sine 22.5 is going to give us 1.9. Okay, but that's only this piece. So this is 1.9 here, and this is also 1.9. So we have to double it. So 1.9 plus 1.9 is going to give me 3.8. So that's the side length. So this side length right here is 3.8. Now, if I want the perimeter, I'm just going to take 3.8 and I'm going to multiply it by the 8 sides. And that's going to give me 30.4. Okay, so I have my apothem in green, my perimeter. So we just have to do 1/2 apothem times perimeter. Let's just do that in this box right here. So again, apothem 4.6 times perimeter of 30.4 and divide by 2. So I'm throwing that in my calculator. And we get 69.9, round to the nearest tenth. Sounds like a good answer to me. Okay, let's go to the next problem. All right, so I kind of skipped these two in our video notes, so we're going to go ahead and skip to the loo on those two, which makes life go a little bit faster. But those are pretty easy. It's just a formula, but we'll go over it another time. These are the ones that are much more important. So, all right. Let's get to it. Let's start with our central angle in red. So 360 divided by 5. So 360 divided by 5 is going to give us 72 as our central angle. And again, we're just going to go ahead and create that right triangle right away, where we already have the apothem, which is 14. This is going to be half of that 72 degrees. So that's going to be 36 degrees right there. And then we just need to find, I think we've been using blue. This is the side, or at least this is half of the side that we're going to solve for. Okay. So we have adjacent here, again, googly eyes on the prize, googly eyes. So adjacent and opposites, this is going to be the tan of 36 equals opposite over adjacent. So multiply that 14 across. Plug that into our calculator, and we get 10.2. So that's 10.2, but we have to double it. And so when we double it, we're going to get 20.4. And it's 5 sides, so we're going to just do 20.4 times 5, which gives me 102. And then the area, for the area formula, we are just going to do apothem, which is 14, times the perimeter divided by 2. So times 14 divided by 2, and we get 204. I think that's right. Correct. Let me just double check that one. That sounds incorrect. I think I mistyped. I was like, that has to be a bigger number. Whoops, that is not the one I wanted. I want the eraser. So there we go. So it's should be our final answer of 714. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Yibbity-dooby-doo. All right, so this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. So we already did that one. So we're going to cheat and just know that this is 45. And this number in here is 22.5. And again, we're given the apothem. We want to find the side. So we're just looking at this little triangle right here. And we have opposite and adjacent on our googly eyes. So this is going to be, again, the tan of 22.5 equals opposite over adjacent, and 10 times tan of 22.5. Which gives us 4.1. So 4.1 is, again, just this little piece right here, so we have to double it. So that should be 8.2. It should be the whole side. So the whole side is 8.2. And then if we go down, the perimeter should just be 8 times that. 8 times 8.2, because we have 8 sides. That's going to give us 65.6. That's a 5. 65.6. And then we just do our apothem, which is 10, times our perimeter, 65.6, and divide it by 2. And we get 328. And I haven't been putting units of measure on here, which I should be doing. So this was yards and inches for the last two. So this would be yards and inches. Hopefully I did that right. All right, well, let's move on. Okay, so we got, these two and 2 more. Cool, 4 problems. Well, let's do it. I feel like let's try and zoom out one. Let's see if I can do it all like this. That'd be pretty awesome. So this is a pentagon. We already did a pentagon. We know the central angle is 72. So our little triangle here. So they're giving me the hypotenuse now of 20, which means I have to do double work, which is not fun. So I got to find the apothem, which we'll do green, and then I have to find the side. Again, this is only going to be half the side, so we'll double it. Eyes up here. And so for green, we're going to do, this is adjacent times adjacent hypotenuse. That's going to be the cosine of, and again, sorry, this number right here was half of 72, so that was 36. And that equals adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 20. So we should get 20 times the cosine of 36, which gives us 16.2. So our apothem is 16.2. Next, we got to find the sides. That's going to be opposite over hypotenuse. That should be sine of 36 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So then we'll multiply that 20 out. So 20 times sine 36, which gives us 11 point, I'm going to go with 11.8. But remember, that's only for half the piece, so we have to double 11.8. And so that's going to give me about 23.6. So the whole side is 23.6. But we have to times that by 5. So that by 5 is going to give me 118. And then we just take the apothem, 16.2 times 118, and divide by 2. The real question is, can you hear my daughter crying? That's the real question. Which I'm going to have to pause the video and go take care of that. All right, but we should get 955.8 square millimeters. All right, next one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides again. So let's clean this up a little bit. There we go. All right, again, we've already done this. We know the central angle is 45. They're giving me the side of 14, so perimeter is really easy. It's 14 times 8. So we're going to book it through this one. That's 112. All I have to do is find the apothem. Okay, so my little triangle here is going to be 22.5. We know that from before. This isn't 14. It's actually half of it, 7. And then I'm going to try and find the apothem. We have adjacent and opposite. So this is going to be tan. So we get tan of 22.5 equals opposite over adjacent. And those two can switch spots. So we're going to get basically our apothem equals 7 over tan 22.5. And then we're going to calculate that really fast to be 16.9. And then we just multiply apothem times perimeter, divide by 2. So we get 16.9 times 112 divided by 2. And we finished that one in what we call record time. 946.4 square centimeters. Killed it. Okay, good. Moving on down. Okay, here we go. Last two. So this one's going to take a little longer on the left. This one will be a lot faster, so we'll do this one first. Octagon. I'm going to just go ahead and show you that the radius is always the hypotenuse. So that's 9, which is unfortunate because that means that I don't know my apothem, and I also don't know my side. So I'm not given a lot here. Good thing is it's an octagon, so I know my central angle is the same as the one we just had, 22.5. So we're going to put that 22.5. I'm sorry, that's not the central angle. The central angle is 45. That's half the central angle because this is one of those little half triangles. Okay, so apothem first, adjacent, hypotenuse, that's cosine. So cosine 22.5 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So we get 9 times the cosine of 22.5. That's why if you did really well on the trig unit, this makes this one way nicer. So we get 8.3. It's 8.3. Okay. Blue, a little always trickier with this one. Opposite hypotenuse, so that's going to be sine of 22.5 equals opposite over hypotenuse. So that's going to be 9 times the sine. I always want to skip the I. So 9 times the sine of 22.5 is going to give us 3.4. But remember, that's not the whole thing. It's only half the side, so we have to double it. So that should be 6.8. And then it's an octagon, so we're going to multiply 6.8 times 8. So this guy right here is 6.8 multiplied by 8. If you're curious how I got that number, which is 54.4. And then we just do apothem times perimeter, divide by 2. So 8.3 times 54.4 divided by 2. And we get our value of 225.8, and that's in square centimeters. Okay, now we can boogie through this one. It's a pentagon. So we've done a pentagon before. If you remember, the central angle is 72. So this little guy right here, our little triangle, is going to be 36 in there. Side length is 10, so 10 times 5, so perimeter is 50. But that means right here, we're only going to see 5 because it's half of it. And then I'm looking for the apothem. So googly eyes. I know I keep just forgetting to do googly eyes. We have adjacent hypotenuse, so that's going to be tan 36 equals opposite over adjacent. And then switch positions, so the apothem is going to be 5 over tan 36. Which gives me 6.9. And then we just do 6.9 times 50 divided by 2. Which leaves me with 172.5, and that's in square inches. And I finished the last one in red and black for St. Clemente. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much.